So one of the coolest things in the modern day debate with reincarnation and everything is simply put that all black holes we know will recycle our energies eventually. We'll get sucked into one at some point, whether we're alive or dead, whether in death my nutrients and my body become a tree. Well, then that tree someday will die and that will get recycled into other energy until it gets into a black hole. And we know that the black holes eventually all eat each other and we get another big bang. So when people say that the universe expands infinitely, it only does after it recontracts. So we're on the right track to get there. And part of the beauty of life is that we do know that there's that simple of an equation. We have our life that we live now, and it's important that we don't waste time. See, that's the difference in reincarnation theory is that we're not supposed to waste our time because we don't know when we'll have our consciousness again be able to have the hands and the smarts and everything, because we could reincarnate into a fly or a rat or a snake or someone on another planet, and that could be a slave. So it's really important that we all realize that just the expenditure of time is us trying. We just try to do our best with the time we get when our vessel can have a consciousness that we can then see. And so then we get into the easiest debate of all in the universe is that eventually all the black holes eat all the black holes. And one of the coolest things about science is that when they show you something from the James Webb Telescope, the oldest light that we can find, it's like 13 billion, 14 billion years old. Well, we're witnessing all those galaxies light at that age. They could all be full of life now and have only looked at what we see as light from distant planets that could be no longer there. The light could be just getting to us. And one thing they don't really talk about in science, and I haven't seen many videos at all really talk about it, is that the light we're witnessing is so old that even the planet going around a star, and so we can say, whoa, we're seeing that light. Look, there's a planet there. Well, the planet may no longer be there, or it could be in the Goldilocks zone when it wasn't before. So the science says that the absolute possibility of life, and life would bring about through evolution a tangible, intelligent life, is that for every time we see a planet that isn't in the Goldilocks zone, we're witnessing light that is so old that it could be in the Goldilocks zone now and as old as Earth or older than Earth with civilizations upon them. So even to the other side of things, just to hypothetically say that that far planet there may have life, well, they could be more advanced than us. And they are witnessing our light from, let's say, billions of years old. And then they're going to look at that and be able to say, wow, that planet is just going around the sun. It's in the Goldilocks zone only because we've been there for so long. So it's just a really subtle debate that I think needs to be started in the scientific community, is because as they work on warp engines and all this new technology and things that are hidden from the public through security clearances, that ultimately we're witnessing planets that aren't in the Goldilocks zone or are in the Goldilocks zone, but they have potentially moved or been able to form life like where we live. So there's a lot of planets that resemble Earth, and Earth wasn't always promotion of life, so to speak, as it was getting hit with asteroids and hit with a large enough sphere of material that we now have a moon and all these other things that could be happening where we would witness it now, but we're only witnessing the light of it now. Where it could be, we see that this planet has a moon now, it's crashed and there's all this debris, but we're only witnessing the light from billions of years ago. So hypothetically, there could be a moon just like ours, around a planet just like ours, or different, but just like ours hypothetically, that has had time to evolve and have life and ice ages and water and all of that. But we may not see the light get to us for billions of years. So all we can do is then hypothetically realize we need to warp. We need to keep fundamentally working on the mathematics of all of these equations that you could hypotheticalize in Einstein-Rosen bridge. We need to keep working on the stories, because the stories passed faster than light. Love is warp speed. And we can know this because stories pass to us in generations faster than the light from another planet that could look like ours. So hypothetically, we could see a star and a planet that looks like it could be earthly. But it's already been aging for all the time that is the distance to get to us. And I just urge you all to realize that it keeps the importance in reincarnation, it explains the universe, and ultimately the chances that there is life there is way more abundant than not. So I hope you guys have a good night, and I hope you get into the arguments of finding planets that are that old, but what would they look like now, hypothetically? Again, we say, wow, we can only witness the light of that star because it's billions of years old. Well, so was the orbit of that planet. And we only see the shadow of the planet as the light is traveled billions of years old. So we're only witnessing things billions of years old, millions of years, but B is there all the time, all those billions. Those galaxies could look totally different now. It's like getting into a time machine. So I think it's pretty cool, and I hope that this starts some debates, nay arguments, on then hypothetically the artwork of the galaxies being what they would be, not where they are, because where they are is ancient, very ancient. And so then we can postulate through all of these stories that have been passed down from generations that the Sphinx was around during the last ice age. And then Egyptians were there at some point after the Sphinx already had a future. We're witnessing stories, and stories can lead us down stray paths. So ultimately, I take the stories of the past very literally and seriously in many ways. Metal from a Dying Star, Mjolnir, the stories of Bifrost. They can try to equate it to an Einstein-Rosen bridge. We can look at it as a quantum warp beam. We can see that we have devices on Earth that are already studying the collisions of neutrons and all these different things. And all of that is ultra important because somewhere in there is the truth that traveled faster than the light from another galaxy.